foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Rulewell. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Knowers in the gospel, broad, living up to the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahawashi, wherever they may be. This is a quick little lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will be edifying. Title, Satan will always be a hindrance, so therefore keep the faith. Satan will always be a hindrance, man. All right, because one thing I learned about being in this truth, and trust me, you know, we're no strangers to being tried and tempted in this walk of ours. This is part of the walk, being tempted. All right, and being put in certain situations that seem to be out of your control, because at the end of the day, really, hold on, be honest with you, really nothing is really in your control. As the scriptures say that the Lord directs our steps, and he directs the steps of men. How can he but know his own way, roughly paraphrasing it? But when you think about it, nothing is really in our control. So you have those situations which seemingly happens at the most inconvenient times, when you know you have things to prepare for, or when just things are just all over the place. And it could be from the most smallest minute shit to the biggest ordeal, you know. And I can use for an example, like prime example, if you're trying to find a new place where you end up moving, and then all of a sudden, you know, you have to pay the first month rent, and then, you know, you have to have the funds, etc. And then all of a sudden the moving company, some bullshit happens, or, you know, the contracts isn't done right. And ultimately that comes from dealing with a kingdom that's not set properly in order. Okay, because you got to understand that Esau tries to convolute everything into this big ball of convenience here. All right, which too much convenience could be bad for you. And I say that because the systems, they're not compatible with being overly convenient here, because the scriptures say that we will work by the sweat of our brow. But regardless of that, every time you put your hand to do something, you know, for the right reasons, Satan will always be in the midst to throw a monkey wrench in it, man. Okay, prime example, you know, like with certain banking, like a big major bank just switched over that whole platform at the end of the month when people were getting paid and when rents are due, and that put a lot of people in a bad jam, man, because for the simple fact, people, they need their money. You know, direct deposits wasn't showing up. People were just pretty pissed off, man. You know, and this is around the time that people like to travel and go out of town with their families. And, you know, a lot of times people move this time of year. And then you had, you know, this big major bank that decided to say, you know what, we're going to decide to switch over at the end of the month on an inconvenient week to fuck everybody over. And, you know, that's just what happens, man. So it's the same thing in our lives, man. And I notice when brothers are trying to make certain moves and do things for the body, or even level up, there's always a hindrance there, okay? That always seems to be a form of inconvenience that end up happening to you, because ultimately Satan, you know, he doesn't want you to, you know, push forth to the next level. And ultimately it's the Lord leveling up your patience, because when you look at the story of Job was all about patience, man. Because at the end of the day, even though Job won the battle, and the battle was already won from the beginning, okay, because, you know, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi has already granted him the victory, but it's just the process, the growing pains, the process, which makes it that much more aggravating, so to speak, because it's just like, okay, you get afflicted with boils, and you lose your family, you lose your wife, your kids, and all of a sudden, what worse can happen at that time when things are already at rock bottom? Then you lose your finances, you lose your wealth, your friends start cussing you out and saying, man, you tripping, you know? And noticing the hell you're catching. And it's just like, damn, can it get any worse before it get any better? But us as men of the Lord, you know, we're not strangers to suffering. And that's one thing you brothers have to understand when you come into this truth. The scriptures say, prepare thy soul for temptation when you come to serve the Lord, man. Because you're going to have those little pockets of inconvenience. You have more inconvenience in this thing than not, okay? You're going to have inconvenience from the smallest levels to the biggest levels, to, you know, money not showing up in the account on time, to, you know, illnesses when you said to do certain things that's important. The spirit may smite you with an illness that can seem to hinder your progress. Because in your mindset, you're hoping things will go smooth, but it don't pan out that way. That's why I tell brothers all the time, if you think that you're gonna get a back door out of this thing, you tripping. Because at the end of the day, it's all essentially going through the straight gate. Because it's all about the straight gate. Now, still at the same time, being positive, man, because hey, the scriptures say out of all the affliction Job had, he did not sin with his lips. So this ain't nothing to curse the Most High about, because you understand it, but you end up cursing Satan. Like, fuck you, man, because it's you. But it's really the Lord testing your patience through this goddamn devil, man. You know, and this is why I tell brothers all the time, you know, always have a positive mindset throughout whatever you go, and also think through situations and ask yourself, is it as bad as you think it is? Because it could be a lot worse, okay? And it has been. But at the same time, too, you brothers out there, when you know things are going probable and things are balancing out in your life, don't put that negative energy in the air and say, well, I know Satan gonna come fuck with me. You can't do that, man. Stop putting that shit out in the air, because we already deal with enough as it is. Okay, we know Satan gonna come and fuck with us, but sometimes you don't want to hear that shit. You know, things going good, you got your good ride, your bills are paid on time, you getting ready to go kick it with brothers, and first thing you start thinking, oh damn, Satan gonna come. You know he's gonna come, but even then, it just like, stop putting that shit out there, man, because it's just like, why? Okay, because what if he don't come up? What if the Lord completely shows up for you this time? You know, but there's a balance to it, as with everything else. But we gotta also speak things positively into ourselves, man. Okay, because the scriptures goes into the power of the tongue, have the credentials of a life and death. So you speak certain things and qualities into your life, then don't be surprised when your life start to reflect negativity, man. Okay, this is why Yahweh Shai said, it's not what goeth coming out of man, but what defileth him. What goes into a man that defileth him. And Salaki, I'm trying to eat something real quick. My bad. Getting hungry, man. Been a crazy ass fucking week. But having a positive mindset throughout all the fucking bullshit that goes on here, because there's enough to be pissed off about waking up every morning in a wicked place like this. Because for one thing, Esau sets the floor and the playing field to be inconvenient. Because see, with this new banking system that they're getting ready to opt into, this market of the beast system, when everything's getting ready to go digital, Esau wants full control over everything, so therefore he can cut your ass off when he's getting tired of your shit. So you got to put yourself in a mindset too, that out of all the inconvenient things that happen to you, you got to let it prepare your mind to deal with something even more inconvenient. Because when the banks collapse, when people can't get their money out, people are going to go batshit crazy. Okay, people are going to have bills coming out, people are going to have to pay rent, people are going to have to do certain things, and then things are just going to go offline, and then people are going to be bugging the hell out, man. Prime example, going back to this major bank change these clowns decided to do at the end of the month. I was looking on Reddit, and people were pissed off, man, because they're like, you know, I got rent coming out, I got this, I'm going here and there. People was genuinely upset, which that's every right. They have every right to be upset, because I mean, you know, why not plan better, right? And it's an inconvenient thing when you got people's lives you're playing with, and people are pissed off and they're crashing out and they're bugging out because their money is being fucked with. And you get it, you know, it will piss you off because, you know, that's your money. But then again, would these people be able to handle the economic collapse when it comes? So when I find myself in certain predicaments that's inconvenient like that, and it may put me back or set me back, yeah, I'll be pissed, I'll be livid about it. But I have to recalibrate and ask myself, well, we got worse times than this coming, so what do I do? But it's always that time when it seems like it's just not right. Like, damn, I gotta go here tomorrow, I gotta go there, I got this coming out, why the fuck would it happen now? You know? And it be like that, man, because shit, it's gonna happen. Hey, the scriptures say that the Son of Man, he's gonna come like a thief in the night, man. Okay, so you gotta keep that in mind on how things are gonna go out, transpire out here in these parts. So, you know, brothers, always pray to the Lord, always keep your, you know, your faith and your wits about you. And always ask you how about you, how shy to give you the strength to endure whatever may come down the pipe, because we get to the point now that we gonna have to completely detach from this wicked system and that's gonna be murder she wrote, man. Because these people, they're gonna lose their minds out here. All right. So anyway, I'm in a dead zone. I don't get good service around here. So I'm gonna bring out this one precept, and I end it. But Lord's will, I'll be back with another lesson here before the day is up. Kind of under the weather all week and kind of trying to do 20 things at once to, you know, get prepared for some important business, and, you know, bam, bullshit happens. But other than that, man, I'm gonna bring out this precept, Luke 21:19. The brothers Jim S. Yawasab, hopeful elect 777 Shalom, bro. But it says here, Luke 21:19, your possessions, it says, in your patience possess ye your souls, man. Okay, so it's all about patience, brothers. All about patience. So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakadash. Lord's will, you will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.